is it on yet, or?
It live streaming
Live
now,
now.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, call me at 5:27. It's 5 minutes. So he should be here in a minute. Okay. Let's get this puppy going. This meeting is now called to order. It is 5:32. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Roll call.
Yes, Ed Robinson,
I am here.
Audrey Kostick,
I am here.
Keith Castenson's absent excused, Mike Powers is on his way, and Jenny Gonzalez is absent excused as well.
Okay, we move to verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
The meeting was posted in all the appropriate spots, schoolhouse doors, Evergent, Village Hall, online, media were notified, we're all covered.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. So we move to the topics for learning and discussion in this meeting, and I think this is where Jeff takes over.
Do you want me to control it? Do you want me to-
So I'll control it, and the purpose really for today is sort of a dry run of what you're gonna be hearing on Tuesday. So the budget hearing and annual meeting are on Tuesday next week. The goal is that we would kind of walk you through, what we're gonna be going over. And Jeff has a little different twist in that we have a packet, every year we have an annual meeting packet that you're seeing here. This packet's still in final draft form, correct?
Mhm.
So the packet, or last year, if you recall, we had a budget workshop in April, I think it was. Jeff hadn't even started, but he was part of the team already. He gave you a blank template with all the different stuff he covers, all the data on our district. And he has built those things into this particular document, and I'll make this as big as I can. And as you kind of go through, there's all sorts of official notices we need to have, the agendas, the budget report, intro, he's got his budgeting process. These are all things that were all part of the document that kind of gives a background as to where our school has been. So this packet is going to come to you this week, and what I ask is that obviously you comb it through and understand what's in it. And Jeff has a little different twist that he's provided. We didn't typically have a packet this detailed, but this is like his booklet merged with our current packet that we had last year, if that makes sense. So this will be handed out, but then there's also an adjoining presentation that Jeff and I will be going through. Oh, forgive me, I didn't get all the way back to the beginning. You're watching it in reverse. There we go. So I'll be starting off the presentation with just an overview of what's going on in the district, kind of a state of the district situation. So I'll talk about our mission and vision, strategic plan, the new staff structure and changes, things to celebrate, of course, and then ongoing work that we have. So I'll talk a little bit about our arrival back at ABC, the mission change,
When are you doing this?
to begin the whole meeting. So this is as if...
Starting before the budget, before Jeff?
Correct.
Okay.
So we open the meeting, and this will come first.
Okay.
Kind of setting the table, if you will. And then from there, the budget conversation would take. So I feel like it's important for us to articulate what we're doing and kind of where we're sitting as a district. So strategic plan, I'll talk through how that process went, share the 4 buckets, talk through that, making sure the community understands. We will have a copy of a clean cover sheet of the big 4, the 4 buckets for public to consume. That's on our website already, but just really, again, articulating it intentionally so that we know it's been done. When I say done, though, it's just this moment in time, because this entire process is ongoing, and I hope that document changes over time, because that means means we're adjusting it as we go through the next 3 to 5 years. So, talk through the new structures and changes, articulating obviously that we had reductions, and then these are sort of the challenges we're facing right now, different changes, but things that we've done in this last year. And then
Have you, back up, okay, so you talked about staff and all of that, what you're not mentioning in here from a educational standpoint, what was reduced? Staff, you know, in other words.
Yeah, I will go,
The reading
Sure.
intervention, the band, the choir,
Yep.
all the things that were affected
I
by
will.
this. Okay,
I will,
all right.
yep. I'm just going through quickly now, but
Yeah,
I
no.
agree with you, I need to articulate exactly what this means.
Right.
Because it wasn't just for teachers.
Right.
It was, the word I use is schnibbles. Dana Marty hates that word, but it's little pieces of teachers. It's a little bit of art, a little bit of music, a little bit of band that were cut, and they add up to 4
Right.
FTEs. And that alters the way we are able to produce electives for our kids,
Yep.
for example.
Yep.
Like today was Monday. There was no art teacher here today, because we share her with a different district now. So that's different for us. So, and we're okay, everyone's still getting art, it's the state minimum met, but that's not what we've ever done here. So that's not the Raymond way, that's just the way we are now. So this is where we go into it. Things to celebrate, our last state report card, last year was an 81. I want to just mark that for you because we will get our new state report card soon. Right now it's embargoed, but we will get the results of this. We currently exceed expectations on the state report card, which is a good place to be. We are one of the higher schools in the area, which is exciting. Even through a tough year, we still ended last year at an 81. We're hopeful that the new report card will show some growth because our staff have worked very hard to improve. 10 new staff came on board last year. They did great. Veteran staff were supportive. They led by example and experience. We're creating positive culture here. Various things we do, as you can see listed here. These are all pieces I want to make sure we hit. There's a lot of good stuff going on here right now. This year feels really good. I think personally it feels good for me as a professional. It feels different than last year. Whether it's new people you brought on board or the board being in a better spot, different spot than we were a year ago. It's good. We're in a good spot. So staff are feeling positive.
Not better.
about things.
But we're in a good spot.
Yeah,
Not better, not worse, but.
we're good. We're solid. We're solid.
I don't want to say we're better.
We're not fixed by any means. We got a lot of work to do and there's constantly something to improve on, but we're really trending positive. So, then ongoing work, again, this is sort of, while there's a lot of good stuff going on, there's still a bunch of things for us to do. We have miles to go before we sleep. So, this is really where we're looking at some different things. I'll talk through each of these items, and we can have discussion if you wanted to, but I think just for the board to be aware that while we've made strides, there's still stuff to go. And of course, the last one there is really future solutions for funding. We don't know. Referendum, state changes, I don't know what the crystal ball has. We have a little bit of a glimpse into the next year with a new biennial budget, but that's all we got. So what are we looking at for solutions for funding is the key. And then we go into our budget presentation. So then Jeff takes over.
So this is just the highlights of what we're gonna talk about. Most of this is a big picture. This is sort of what I'm required to present to you. It's not something that you would normally see at a regular board meeting because it's such a big picture. So
10,000 foot book.
right, and so we'll talk about some of the Wisconsin state budget impacts that impact our school in particular, special ed funding going up, and open enrollment revenue going up, so we'll talk about some of that. And this is our third Friday count. This is what I submitted to the state. So this is the head count, so 388 total students. And then I broke down staffing, sort of what Mike said. We have 59 staff, but 45.67 FTE. So that means, full-time is 1. If you're not full-time, it's a fraction of one, so. So here is the big picture, so we'll talk about, I'll probably explain what a lot of these revenues, I put some of them on there. So you have the audited 23-24, unaudited 24-25, and then the budget for this year, and this was all in the budgeted notices that I gave in the paper and on the website. So local sources is mostly taxes, interdistrict is mostly open enrollment, state sources is mostly equalization aid, and then federal grants, and then there's other revenue that's not categorized in some of those other categories. So for the visual learner, this is how you kind of look at it. So local sources as a percentage, that's tax revenue. Interdistrict is again mostly open enrollment, state is mostly equalization aid, which is the majority of our revenue. So we have basically three big buckets. And again, here's the cash position. This is our cash flow. Most of it is a prediction. Right now we're pretty much in the middle of it. And then obviously you can see when our revenue goes up and goes down. Mostly January, February it goes up, and then right now we don't receive a lot of revenue. So just like to use some of those for people that like the visuals. So then we have expenses. So instruction, they categorize into three big buckets. Instruction has anything to do with purchasing something related to students. So most staff and supplies. Support services is like staff like guidance and support, administration, operations, any money we spend that is not directly for a kid or for instruction. And then the last one is mostly special ed. So here's a better way of understanding our expenses. So salaries and benefits, purchase services, the third one is supplies and other services that we, like the audits and the legal, stuff like that. Mostly things we buy to operate and for kids. Non-capital objects, those are purchases that are made that are less than $5,000, but usually more than 1,000. So not so much of that. And then you see the capital objects over 5,000. 23-24, that was mostly COVID purchases. And then short-term debt, that's interest, insurance, transfer to other funds. That right now is just special ed. The budgeted number is significantly lower because we did reduce staff in special ed, and then there's some high cost students that left the district, and the reimbursement to special ed, so it's pretty significant, less of an expenditure. So here's the pie chart for expenses. Salaries and benefits, about 62%, that's pretty normal. I think in a high school it's usually around 70%, we're pretty normal. It might be a little low. And then purchase services, again, it's a lot of the services that we buy and supplies. Those are the three big buckets for our expenses. And then special ed, on some of the revenues here. Transits, we had shared services, the state aid, and federal grants. And then special ed expenses, normally the revenue and expenses match, but there's some special ed expenses that I'm flushing out right now, so I communicated, just to be safe, to our expenses a little bit lower. It can go up, we just have $30,000 to look at still, so. And then Fund 21, I don't usually do a budget expenses for Fund 21, just because right now our Fund 21 is in a bit of a flux, so we have, a lot of, transferring some of our, expenses to, Fund 21, like the musical, and getting them out of the general fund, just to track them better from year to year, and we've talked about that before. But right now, it just shows the fund balance, and I don't budget for it too much because of the variances on expenses and revenues that's probably gonna happen. So I just need another year to see how that goes in Fund 21 for us.
So is it safe to say Fund 21 is sort of an in-out account? It's
Yep.
where different organizations bring in fundraisers or money, and that's where you hold it before you spend it out.
Right.
So all of our clubs run through this now. We haven't always functioned this way. This is the best way to function because it allows us the versatility to have flux.
Is Panther Pride in this?
No,
No, is that in the general?
yeah. And it's mostly because it's not a donation.
Okay.
So it's or it's like student revenue driven. So like the musical is mostly a lot of donations and student revenue driven. And you know, if they ask me, well, how much did we make in the musical last year? How much do we have left over? Well, the general fund wipes everything out every year. So you don't have anything left over, which is why it's good to put them in Fund 21, especially if it affects students, and like sports concessions and stuff like that, so.
Fifth grade graduation, things that would carry,
Yeah.
you know, a balance, because you want to honor the work of the people who were on that committee that left a little money in there, and then we're trying to get into a cycle of, we don't just hand off eighth grade graduation with nothing. We say, you have $800, for example, you need to make sure you return it to us with $800. So if you spend a little money on the front end, getting things ordered and having things ready, then they know how much they have to fundraise. So I think it's a better way. You're much more likely to get people to help volunteer when they know there's a little bit of a,
So it's kind of a holding account for things outside of general
Yep.
operation.
exactly.
Things that are
Yep.
budgeted.
Yep.
I mean, there's rules around it, and it, you know, it's
Right.
like Panther Pride wouldn't really qualify, so. So here's the debt service. So right now, there's a fund balance. The fund balance again this is Fund 38 and Fund 39 combined. So Fund 39 still has $100,000 in there. Fund 38 has a balance. Because the levy and the budget are different, so we will also be levying our Fund 38 debt, so that's why the revenue jumps up to $267,000. And then the expenditures is just the debt, the operational debt, because one of the state trust fund loans was an operational loan, so that's why it's categorized there. So that's mostly new Fund 38 debt.
When you show the cash flow up and down and up and down, and when it gets really low in whatever month that is those dollars in those funds shown in that, is that part of this or no?
Yes.
The 38 and 38. So you really, even though that money, we can't use it because it's earmarked for
Right.
other stuff,
Yep.
we're really at zero. You can't break into that money, right? That we
You
just
have
talked
to,
about.
so when you levy, you get the money, it just goes into that bank account. So yes, you have to hold it.
You have to
but
hold
you
it.
have to pay the Fund 38 debt in March. So
Yeah.
you have to make sure you have enough. So yes, absolutely.
And that goes into our assets minus our liabilities
Yeah,
for
okay.
our total fund balance discussion.
But I mean, those dollars, right there, where the hell were you? Just, yeah, right in there. That like 150,000 or whatever, is that included in your chart?
Yes, yes,
Okay, but we can't really use that for operations.
right. It's just, cash flow is just pure cash.
Right.
We can use it, we
we
just
can.
have to make sure that when we pay the bill, that we have that money there.
Okay.
So it's
So we
always,
can
the
borrow
money's
against it.
always there, even though the balance is at zero.
Oh, okay.
Because you know, because in January, you get your tax revenue and then you account for it in Fund 38.
Okay, right.
So here is the Community Service Fund. It's the big
Fund 80.
picture for the budget. There's a resolution to start a Fund 80. There's a resolution to start a Fund 80 in the annual meeting. So this is I earmarked $5,000 for the Community Service Fund. just to start. And then out of the $46,000 that we had, you know, spend maybe 1,500 of it, or 11, how much do I have there?
1550?
1,550, to improve some of the baseball, diamond stuff. So if we use all 5,000 for it, that's fine too, just to get it started. That's what I have, in the budget.
So that 5,000 is a levy that we'll be able to
Yep.
ask for.
Yep, I'll show it to you later.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a penny or something.
It's less than a penny,
Less than a penny.
yeah.
Is there any reason why you got it so low?
I just wanted to start the Fund 80 and
I want
just,
2 pennies.
well, I want to keep the levy low enough, so I just, because the equalized value of your home might go up 20%. So I'm just very careful about making the levy too high.
Got you. All right. All right, because if them folks are here, they're gonna say, well, what the hell are we gonna do with $1,500?
A lot. You could do a good deal.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
mean, with their numbers though that I gave you,
But this is our building of trust with this, to say, here's what we're using it for, and here's why we've established it, and it's gonna grow. And you can give examples of other balances from Yorkville and
Okay.
Uni
It's usually
Grove.
it's a levy issue, because if the levy's too high and your house goes up 20%, it's a big hit to a taxpayer. So Baird has told me that I budgeted for 3%, but they're thinking it's gonna go up 10%. So I didn't want the levy to go up too high, and you're gonna get, like, your house could go up another 15%, and then the levy's too high, and then your taxes.
so that penny turns into something like a nickel?
Yeah, if I made that 20,000, it would be a big hit to the levy. So that's the reason why it's 5,000. And so here's the breakdown of some of the history, 23, 24, and then it does go up because I'll show you later, there's some equalization aid. We're projected to get less because of the biennial budget, and then there's some declining enrollment funds that we could pull from, and then the referendum, the non-referendum debt gone up. To pay for that, it's gone up, so that's why the levy has gone up.
Is this a separate line item on our tax bill, or is it
Yes,
just all rolled in?
it'll say Raymond School District, and then it'll show you how much it costs.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it'll show it to you.
For Fund 80?
No.
No, in total?
Your breakdown, I'll show it to you in a
Okay,
second.
that's fine,
So,
I'm just getting ahead of you.
yeah, so here's kind of what you talked about. So this is sort of.
You've learned a lot, you know what you're looking at, that's good though.
This is a history of this is a history of what it has been. Obviously, 21, 22 was higher, and then the referendum issue did not pass, so then it went down significantly, depending on how you're, looking at it. So we have the property value, the total levy, the mill rate, and then on a $400,000 property, how much it would cost per year. So projected so that equalized property value that I have projected is probably going to go up, according to what Baird has told me, and then that means the levy and the mill rate will probably go down. But then if your house goes up, 10%, it's sort of a wash, unfortunately. So
How does that mill rate position us locally?
I have that later.
Of course you do.
Okay, so, so here's the breakdown of that $3.96. General fund, which supports students and staff, is the majority of it. Fund 38 debt, so is, 35 cents. And then there's the Fund 80, so it's .007 of a penny, so it's less than a penny. If you had a $400,000 house, I think it's like $2.80 a year for that $5,000 to fix the baseball diamonds, do some work on it. So that's the breakdown of the $3.96. Here's a comparison of the property values. Your values have gone up, so that means the tax levy kind of went up, and then it's went down, and then it goes up a little bit, it just fluctuates depending on, equalization aid, and then students, student residents. The mill rate, again, the mill rate is just a calculation of the property value and the tax levy, and then just their percentage change, so. That's also, this is all in the packet too.
Yep.
But the tax, can you back up one minute? So if my taxes were $4,000
Yep,
in 14, 15, as I run through the years, in 25, 26, my taxes are down,
yep.
even though my value is worth more.
It depends how much your value of your house went up, you know.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how you show I just wonder how you show people that overall, your taxes haven't gone up, they have gone down on your property, even though the value of your property has gone up.
Yeah, that's a hard, because everybody's house has a different value.
Yeah.
So if you went from a $400,000 house to a $500,000 house, your taxes are gonna go up no matter what we do. If it went 400,000 to 410, your taxes went down. So it's just, it depends what so if the budget number goes up 3% and your house goes up 15%, you pay more. If the budget number goes up 10% and your house didn't move, then your taxes are lower. Now, that's just the Raymond part of your taxes, obviously. You know, the village has their own taxes and the high school has their taxes.
Union Grove has theirs, and this is the year that they're gonna be hitting with that new referendum debt, which will present differently for people.
Yeah, so like Yorkville, our referendum passed, their taxes went down because everything dropped off and the new debt wasn't as much as the old debt, so.
But that would've been the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would've been in 22, 23.
Right here was the golden opportunity to do that.
Right. Instead of wiping it completely out,
Yeah.
take
Carry
part
on,
of it.
new debt, less debt, different
Yeah.
debt, yeah.
So now the discussion is, how we can do it fiscally responsibly without,
Right.
the taxpayers
Yep,
feeling it too
yep.
much. So
Okay.
so this is last year's comparison. We don't know this year's comparison just because people haven't, on October 15th, after October 15th I'll know, but for now, this is all I know. So you see Yorkville's and the high school obviously pulls from all of the communities, so that's why their mill rate is low, because of their equalized value is so high. It's a dividing the levy by the value, and that's how you get the mill rate. So this is what our neighbors are, their equalized value, their levy, the last referendum, and then the membership average, that's a 3-year rolling average. So as far as that goes, we're doing fine. I mean, it's normal. This is just a little comparison of last year's numbers.
But interesting little tidbit when you look at open enrollment. Resident to us in Yorkville is pretty close. Where Yorkville out extends us is they have many more open enrollment than we do, about 50 more open enrollment kids than we do.
So they got like 450? Is there any?
457.
457. Yep. So we don't have, they're at like 36% open enrollment, I think was what I
Yeah.
read. We're at about 26.
So here is just the last look of the levy. It so the first number will change, so the general fund levy will change after October 15th, when I get all of the final numbers, all the equalization age comes in, so that number will change. So,
Up or down?
it depends. Your equalized value is projected to go up, so the mill rate probably would go down. It's not gonna change too much.
The total dollars would be.
Yeah, the total dollars would be similar. And I always throw this in because a lot of school districts pull from different places. You guys only pull for the village of Raymond. So at Yorkville, they're pulling from
simple
3
as can be.
places. So makes it easy on me. I only have to go to
Where do you
one
pour?
place.
Where do you pour?
They pull from the town of Raymond and the town of Dover and the village of Yorkville. So I'll ask for any other questions, so.
I won't ask any that day.
Feel free to
Yeah.
ask as many questions as you want.
Yeah.
I might not be able to answer them all, but.
So then, this is going back to the packet, and you'll get this packet this week. As soon as we can get it to you, we'll get it to you.
Most everything I had in the presentation is in this packet, except for the packet is a little bit more of an explanation for people that like to read about budgeting and how I came up with some of these numbers.
So again, this is a little more extensive. I think, yeah, Audrey could probably speak to having her socks knocked off with this one, because I think this is pretty impressive to
Oh,
have
yeah.
this
Oh, it's totally
information.
impressive.
Because we didn't have it last year, let alone, I mean, I don't think we've ever had anything in this detail.
I
so.
just can't believe we didn't get beat up, you know, by not having something like
Well,
this.
you don't know the difference.
Well, when you don't know the
Right,
difference. that's-
Right. So again, this is the book you'll be getting. This is public. It'll be the packet that we release out to the public.
Yep.
So again, no mystery. I think since Jeff's come on board, we've become even more transparent than ever in terms of knowing our numbers.
Yeah.
So,
How many of these packets are you printing out?
I'll probably print out 20. Because I mean, if someone doesn't make it, they could always, they'll be black and white, they won't be pretty
Okay,
color, because,
alright.
you know,
Just-
although Jeff did just renegotiate our contract with our copiers, which is a kudos to him, he saved us some money on that, and got us brand new copiers.
That's good. Those copiers drive me crazy all the time.
Sure, we have new ones now.
Yeah.
So there's, again, more here. Then again, remember we had, when you're moving through, obviously, this is the discussion about the different funds we have, referendum, food service, community service, and then we roll into the actual meeting. So
This is where we
we lay out ground rules. This-
get someone to run the meeting at this
Yep,
point?
Yep,
Okay.
you turn, Audrey will turn the meeting over to
You,
What?
the public,
you're gonna run it.
and you can have,
Did you
there's
ask me?
a number of people
I didn't say yes.
who can do that.
You have to be nominated.
You nominated to go through the whole, but the point is, these will be reviewed by Audrey prior to turning over the keys to the meeting. And
Mike's
then-
our parliamentarian.
Yep, I'll serve as parliamentarian, we're not gonna, have any disorder here, I'm sure it's gonna be great. And then we go, this is basically outlining the whole thing, it's talking about meeting etiquette, et cetera, that's important to go over. So then this is the annual meeting itself, which is called to order, and then they elect a chairperson, and then these are the 5 resolutions that we're meeting about.
Okay,
Anything outside the scope of these would be considered a recommendation by the community, but not actionable. So a couple of years ago and last year, there was a lot of discussion around this and that and the other thing, which people brought. They are welcome to do that. One of the things we can do, though, is if the community would want to keep that discussion going, or they could call to question. We talked about that in our parliamentary procedures a few weeks ago. If you want something to be called to a vote and stop the discussion, I think you function as a board, though, as community members. So one of the things I would like to see, actually, is I'd like to maybe have you even physically go sit. You might want to get in and just go sit with the community. That way, it's not like there's no impression of a board up here
right,
doing anything.
right, no, and I
Because
think that's a good idea.
You're on equal standing, you know. We will have the counters of Donna and Dana as the electorate, whenever anything's voted on. You can do voice vote, which is fine, or you can just do counted vote. I prefer not doing voice vote, it's hard to articulate, especially when there's
And-
nays, how many nays.
Right.
And that can get very rowdy.
It just gets loud,
And loud.
and I feel like raise your hand, and then we'll count, and then motions carry and fail based on that. So there's the
So-
5 resolutions.
A, B, C should be a piece of cake. D,
Hopefully.
probably a little bit of discussion.
Yeah.
And E,
So when I do the budget,
Yeah.
normally the budget hearing is during the annual meeting, so it's gonna be before, so at that resolution E, anybody can comment on the budget or the presentation, and you know.
is for Fund 80. Is that correct?
No, the tax levy is the total tax levy. It's in the resolution.
Including Fund 80?
Yeah, it's the total
And
tax
he
levy.
purposely, we wanted to place Fund 80 before tax levy, because there's gonna be one, if they say
Right.
no to Fund 80, we're not gonna put the levy forward that we initially wrote up, because it'll change by .007 mill rate.
Okay.
So we wanted to get the adoption of Fund 80 done first, then you do the tax levy second.
Okay,
And then the other one is setting the annual meeting then. What we're proposing is Monday, August 17th, immediately following the regular school board meeting, or we could do it immediately before the school board meeting, and the community could decide that. But I put that out as a suggested date for the future. And then,
which way do we want to lead them down?
uh,
Before or after?
I think having it on the same day would be a win. I don't know, I think
I'm
maybe,
okay with same day, just, is there any benefit to having one ahead of the other?
I think having the board meeting first, you could build your budget hearing into the board meeting, couldn't you?
I'm used to have the annual meeting first, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, no, that's fine,
It doesn't matter to me.
So we could do immediately following or proceeding. And if we want to change that now, we could say immediately preceding the regular board meetings, is what we're asking for. I think that's,
Doesn't matter to me.
yeah, I don't know if there's an advantage one way or the other.
I mean,
You guys make
definitely.
that call, whatever you guys want to
Okay.
do.
And then any other business considered by the powers of the annual meeting, this is where people may have their power of suggestion, that's fine. It's an open meeting that they're running, but know that those things that are being voted on have no impact on our ability to do our day-to-day business. They're only considered advisory to the board, and the board doesn't need to do anything with them. That's where,
If we choose,
if you choose to say, yeah, I hear you, someone brings up a great point, there could be a great point that's brought up, that's the power of a meeting. So,
But we don't no action,
no,
other than.
even if they take action and they pass a resolution to do
It's up
something.
to us whether we agree to try to do something about it
Right.
or just let it go and hear what they have to say and just move on with business.
Yeah. Just like the adoption of the tax levy is advisory. I mean, they're gonna adopt what we ask them to adopt. If they decide to adopt a different number, we still have to adopt the tax levy. You can't just sabotage and not adopt any taxes. You can't derail too far, so. And then the meeting minutes, these are the meeting minutes from last year that are in there.
Do we approve those at
You-
some point through the,
They actually,
Agenda?
they
That's
approve
the-
it.
The community.
yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
As part of the agenda, for the annual meeting agenda, where is that? Is
Should we
that,
put that on the agenda, Jeff?
You should put it on the agenda.
yeah. That's
So
okay.
that should be what, probably here?
Yeah.
Good
Adoption of,
Catch.
Way to go, Ed.
We're gonna do a flag,
No.
no?
Oh,
Yeah, from last year, Audrey.
Oh, was it August 22nd?
yeah, right here.
Okay.
We can do a pledge of allegiance too then, or no? Call the meeting to order,
Is
pledge
it
of
in the budget
allegiance.
hearing? Is it on the budget hearing?
I think the pledge is in the budget hearing. Let me just double check, because we want to make sure we have that.
But these are two separate meetings.
They are.
It doesn't matter to me.
It's in there, yep.
Sometimes they like to say the pledge of allegiance every time they start a meeting.
I mean, if you want, the board can decide. That's why we're talking here. Want to add the pledge, we can add the pledge.
Now, do you have to do the verification of the public notice and all that in here too?
Not on the annual meeting, because this
Okay,
is their
all right,
meeting.
Okay.
I'm there as an audience member. I have no power. I'm just sitting there helping, parliamentarian type duties,
And
but
Sheriff.
procedure.
Are we asking for, okay,
Okay.
I read your mind.
So adoption of meeting minutes from annual meeting on August 22nd, good. And then we have those other things.
And I don't think
And
we have
then-
any old business or anything like that. You got anything?
I was gonna say thank you, Jeff, for spacing.
Cleaning you up.
That didn't do well. I'll go back here.
At least you guys know how to run those computer things.
Cafe, it's not gonna be here?
This isn't the cafe. This is considered the cafe.
Oh, okay.
It's a cafe slash library
Alright.
slash gymnasium.
Yeah.
Cafeteria-nasium, I think they call it.
I used to play basketball in this.
So then here are the resolutions themselves. So resolution A, they set salaries. Again, this is from last year.
Right,
Resolution B, they set the food service. Resolution C, transportation. I think you actually have the resolutions here. There we go. So the salaries that were for reference are on here. Okay, so that's the first resolution.
I thought the clerk, oh yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Makes it a smidge more.
Yeah.
And then food service, and again, you're just allowing us to contract. And then transportation, they're allowing us to contract. And then community service fund, this is the one that may, and this is the one where we're reading it as is. Because you're adopting a new levy item.
who is going to make that motion? Is this what they're gonna read? Is that what
The
you're
person that makes the
expecting?
motion would
Read that?
read that.
So it could be someone from out in the
Yep.
general public?
And again, this is a little different legal beagle because of the fact we don't currently have a Fund 80. So this would look different next year, correct, Jeff?
You don't have to do it next year.
Right, we would have an amount indicated.
Yeah, this is just to establish the Fund 80.
Right, so next year you would have discussion of the amount of Fund 80 levy,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't go through all of this stuff again. And then the tax levy itself, this is the amount, again, subject to change once October 15th hits, which is the next day. Now, in some miracle that the state does this on the 14th and releases their numbers, which they maybe could, we would have the actual numbers and we wouldn't have to have this on the October 20th agenda. If it plays the way it normally plays, October 15th, we'll get a whole new set of numbers. So then we set the levy officially at the board meeting on October 20th. Right?
Yep.
So there you go. That's the packet.
Makes a lot more sense the second time around than it did the first time.
There you go, right? It is different. So, there's that. We have one viewer right now, okay.
Probably my wife.
So, that said, that was our item with Jeff tonight that we want to talk about. The other item on our agenda, topics, I should say, is this particular packet. And this is one that I was able to update, so it might be a little different than the one you may even have printed, Ed, but you're a good steward of printing, so that's good. I can print a new one too, but this is basically just everything you need to know about being a board member, some of our data. So it starts with some of these basic information pieces. Here's how we break down our enrollment.
So just go back a quick second, we had 388 on our first Friday count, so only one kid was actually absent today, the third Friday.
No, since the third Friday count, we added one more kid. So she came in after third Friday.
Just get the numbers right.
And that's where third Friday is sort of not what it used to be. Used to be a static, you marked that and you stayed there, and that was your number. Now it's every day your number could change. You can always go in and adjust, and they'll pay you to the day. They know how much the cost of a kid is to the day. So if you add a kid tomorrow,
Is there a cutoff time?
For open enrollment.
for open enrollment is a cutoff.
Open enrollment's an FTE thing too.
But if people move here or whatever.
If you move in though and you're a resident, we can let them know there's another new
Okay.
resident here.
Am I ahead of you? Are you going through this?
This is the breakdown of our public here, so our demographics. This is the percent EL, which is English language. It used to be ESL, English is a second language. 7 students, they're all Spanish speaking. In their family, 16% free reduced. This is a number that's important to make sure is reflective accurately, because this is part of what goes into your formula for the state report card. Because then you're talking about moving demographics of kids, you know,
Maybe 25%.
it's all based off of actual numbers. We covered 36.5 square miles with Dousman as our bus. There's our leadership team, number of district employees. There we go. In fact, I could probably, well, adjust this based off of Jeff's report. What'd you have in that report? Number of districts certified? We can look at this tomorrow,
Oh,
making sure, because you got a good
it's 37 certified.
37?
So certified are actual teachers,
Yes,
classified are the aides or support.
yes, support staff, office staff,
Oh, no, that might not be right. I'll have to look.
Custodians?
I'll have to-
custodians, yeah. So we'll look at those people and make sure we have the right numbers. I gotta get our Facebook address on here, but that's our only social media platform. We don't have Instagram, and we don't have Twitter or
But you
X.
do have your own webpage.
We do have a webpage. I could add that under there, yep. So, here's our population, there you go, and a lot of this, keep in mind, is,
Okay, back that up.
yeah,
That's K through 8. What about 4K? That's not included?
well, I would do 4. There you go. Some people just do K as general, they say any kindergarten, whether it's 4 or 5 is K.
Okay, I don't know. I just didn't know if that was included in the
Yeah,
student count.
4K is included in that number.
Okay.
We don't have any additional properties we own. This is sort of like when we create our agendas, here's the stuff we considered. And then purpose of our committees.
Back up to the meeting stuff. There you go. Public comment. Could we put that as optional? If we decide to ever get rid of it? I mean, if it's written in here, is that something we're stuck with then? Or is it?
No, this is not a binding, this is just for our
Not binding?
credit.
Okay.
This is non-binding, this is just a WASB document that if
Gotcha.
somebody said, I wanna run for the
Oh,
board,
okay.
how does it work?
Yeah, it's just an informational thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So-
I'm sorry, I don't mean.
This'll
Yeah,
add
it's
to
for
the,
every board member.
this'll add to the binder
Yep.
of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
if
Okay.
you wanna know how something operates, look at your folder.
Okay, carry on, sorry.
No, it's important because we don't have these we don't have historical
I know.
documents, and we're just trying to get this stuff written down,
Yep.
you know, so life can go
That
on
was my
after
biggest
us.
complaint
After
when
all
I-
of us in this room, life can go on.
That was my biggest gripe when I got onto this. What do we know?
We won't get caught with that twice, so.
No.
Here's the different committees.
Well, at least it's not
Here's
as
our-
long as we're wrong.
Here's our protocols, kind of how we do business. You know, if you want to get something on the agenda, how you work it, if you want to place, you know, items on the agenda, obtaining any info about things. We do a good job, I think, I talk with each of you kind of as needed, and you all kind of have different methods of easiest way to get a hold of you, which is good. You guys have all been really great too about, hey, something comes up, I heard something, you're directing traffic back to say, call Mike, call, you know, the administration, talk to the teacher, you know, go through the pecking order. And it's hard because we're a small, close community that has access. I mean, I'm out front doing parking duty every day. You wanna really tell me something, I'm right there. So you've got access to,
Just make sure you don't stop in the wrong spot,
don't, cause I will send you forward.
even if you're a board member.
That's right, that's it. Please pull forward,
No
sir.
clout, huh?
That's it, no clout.
I was like, sorry, didn't know.
Okay.
So this is sort of the, again, nuts and bolts pieces procedurally. How we evaluate, you know, I do want to see the board, and we can work on evaluation. I want to handle some self-evaluation for you all to say like, how do you feel like we're doing as a board collectively? Are we engaged? Are we learning? Or how are we doing? And I think that's something our board has not had the ability to do. The opportunity, I should say, the ability's there, the opportunity hasn't presented itself.
Yeah, it was stressed in, at the convention, that is really an important thing that the board does on an annual basis, is to evaluate itself.
Yep.
But,
And
you
then-
know, we all can improve.
For sure, and then, well, you can also start to set some goals maybe for yourself, and I know people at this table have done a good job of, hey, I'm gonna try that workshop, or I'm gonna learn this thing, or I'm gonna join this committee, or I'm gonna attend whatever meeting we have. Those are all great opportunities to learn. I think for the most part, you pick something up every time you go. So, state report card comes out in November, so we will, you know, have a chance to look at those. In terms of progress reports, that's pretty much our biggest litmus, you know, is that particular outcome. And then timeline for budget, which is great. We actually have all alignment with this stuff, which is a good place to be.
We may have to change that annual meeting in October.
You're right,
Hopefully it changes
yeah.
that,
I would say annual meeting anywhere from August to October.
Hopefully back to August, but we'll see.
And then currently, we have the structural deficit. This was written with a 2% fund balance, where we know we're gonna be better than that, but just giving a good nuts and bolts. We did make a cut of about $500,000, and the current fiscal year budget is balanced, which is the most important thing. We're working on a balanced budget, and made some good savings last year too. So, anticipated budget issues, obviously staff comp, employee benefits, adequate funding, depleted fund balance, and pending legal matters are all things that, you know, we face. And I would say that 5 out of 5 is pretty much what every district is looking at up here with the times we're in. Responding to staff community with complaints, there's sort of the understanding there of how to handle that. The big thing is, you know, the one thing we talked about a couple of years ago now almost, with Kelly Thompson, Dr. Thompson was here doing a training. You as individual board members have no power. When you assemble, that's when you have board power.
Yep.
And so people that tell you as a board member, they pick your brain, you're not functioning as a board member at that moment. So just understand that you all do a good job of that, so. Contact admin. And then we do have consultation, legal advice. Bob Butler's our typical go-to. We have substantially reduced our reliance, thankfully, as things have settled here on attorneys. I've also become crafty in my ways of seeing someone at a conference and just talking to them for a minute about something, asking for a friend, you know, and so we don't have an attorney on retainer, as we have had in the past, but we do not currently have that. We have Bob Butler and Wasby, who kind of does most of our stuff.
You got board president and superintendent should contact. That's kind of a suggestion, shouldn't that be shall,
Shall, sure,
right? Should and shall are two,
yeah. But typically, if it's ever called, like Audrey will tell me, hey, I've got a question, I gotta call so-and-so.
but I mean, you two are the only ones that should be contacting the attorney, not any other board member.
Nobody else. And then my evaluation's twice a year. I'd like to in November, just maybe have a closed session and talk through the year thus far, November, December, and give you a chance to have a starting conversation. I'm supposed to have like 2 touch points
We
throughout
will
the
be
year.
starting that soon.
Right, because we have the WASB framework that we use, and so
Yep.
we'll get that going.
Yeah.
And then media,
Should be done by December 31st, I think.
yeah, to be safe, yeah. Media requests are all handled through us, if someone contacts us about anything. If you wanna come to the school, you're always welcome, just, you know, set it up with me ahead of time if you're coming in. We really don't wanna have you in classrooms and stuff unless you have some need to do that. Which you'd be surprised, different communities have different people who wanna exercise their ability to come in, and that's fine, but time and place. Each board member is expected to attend and work on up to 2 committees, so looking at 1 to 2, some of you come to all of them, depending on, you know, what your interests are. And the expectation in community events is, you know, come when you can. There's a stipend, opportunities for PD. If you want to attend a conference or be registered, let us know. We do have some budget for board development. And then if you wanna make a reservation for something, we can certainly talk about, like, if you're going to a conference that's not around here, you know, there's stuff you can work on that way. But for the most part, the big one's in Milwaukee. For you,
Wasn't there just one down in like New Orleans or something?
they've got big ones, you can go, they'll try and get you anywhere in the country, if you wanna pay
I've
enough
seen
money,
like
they'll
3 or 4 of them. Like,
fly out to California
Oh,
for a
like a
national
national
school
school
board
board?
conference,
Yeah.
and that's great.
Yeah.
The only time I go to those is if I'm presenting. So, travel expenses reimbursements are on there. Any questions? What changes have occurred in the last 5 years? What about the next 5 years? I think this is an interesting one. I didn't want to dive into too much, but I could write a whole dissertation here.
Yeah.
It's been lots in 5 years. And so, you know, what I'll do is give this some more thought, bullet some items. You can certainly also offer up any insights, but I think just bulleting changes. And then I think the next 5 years, I mean, it's hard to anticipate. I think sticking with 1 year is pretty good for us, as we're navigating year to year, so.
There was no comment or anything pointed out about public notices for meetings and what closed meetings are all about, and that maybe more than 2 board members could possibly be seen as a quorum. I'll try to avoid that, although not necessarily an issue.
Sure.
It isn't in there, is it?
No.
Yep,
It is? No.
no, so like walking quorum,
Yeah. But then there was no, how we got the verification of public notice too, for board meetings, where there is a quorum. That was all I had.
and we do that as a habit now. We post everything.
Yeah, I know you
If
did.
there's any chance of you coming, we post it. And Natalie's already got all those events done, so like trunk or treat, for example, which is coming up. The board may want to couple with
I'm
admin.
not gonna be here that.
Board may want to couple with admin on that, if, you know, Ed wants to wear his Tin Man costume, he can again, but, we can talk, otherwise you can just come as spectators,
You're
and
missing this one?
Yeah,
that'd be good, so.
yeah, we're gonna be away that weekend.
We're talking about possibly, if we're not gonna do anything, then it might be a good possibility we might actually bring our snowmobile club and get some volunteers. And
Sure.
you know, but
So that's what we had on our agenda, topic-wise for tonight.
Good,
we're gonna decide that on
well
Wednesday.
done.
Well, I know that Jenny usually does a trunk. Jenny and her husband,
Yeah.
so
Nellie
I
brought
might
it up
wanna see
about
what she
doing,
wants to do.
Nellie brought it up the other day.
I will be meeting with Jenny tomorrow morning to
Okay,
review this.
okay,
She set up a meeting with me, so tomorrow morning I'll talk with her and I can ask her about her trunk.
yeah.
I'll ask her too, now that I have her number.
Are you
Admin
gonna be
team
around
will,
for that?
Yeah, more than likely.
admin team will, well, you got like 98 family members here. You know, all these kids keep showing
Oh,
up
that
from the
is
Robinson
fun.
clan, that's it, yeah.
fun, that's a fun night for the kids.
It
It
is.
really is nice.
I think
Nellie
pretty much
really-
every one of your grandkids has mentioned your name. You know who my granddad's, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I say, yes, Jameson, I do.
He's a good boy.
He is. Good, they're all good kids. All right,
Does that conclude our meeting?
that concludes, yeah, my portion, so if you wanna have a discussion or you wanna wrap it up.
Anything
No.
else?
Nope, I move to adjourn.
All right,
I'll second.
all right.
Motion by Ed to adjourn at 6:30.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 6:30 on the dot.
Sorry about all the itching, I got stung by like 3, 4, 5 ground bees yesterday.
Oh, it's
and
awful.
I was working on my
I got stuck
parents'
at home.
house, well, my dad's